Hello there, fellow YouTubers. On today's video, we're going to be going over optic mounting solutions on the Beretta 90 series. We all love the Beretta 90 series, but I think we all can agree it is a bit cumbersome to mount optics, mainly due to how high the optics sit on the slide, and due to the firing pin block and internals that have to be up here for the gun to work safely and reliably. Now, we got a few different options here. So we got the Beretta OEM Trijicon RMR plate, and then we got two plates from DLAH Designs. That's spelled DLAH Designs. He has a mid mount and a low pro mount that removes the firing pin block to get the optic plate lower. Now, on a Beretta, there is a firing pin block up here that when you pull the trigger, it raises up, and I'm sure you can kind of see how that works. So when you pull the trigger, that block has to come up for the firing pin to travel to actually hit the back of the primer, right? So the way that, these guns kind of work is it's a two-piece firing pin system, basically. You got that one piece in the back here, and then you got the firing pin block that prevents it from going off as well. So when you decock the gun, that lever rotates out of the way so it doesn't hit the firing pin. But if it were, the firing pin block would catch it and it would not detonate. Okay, so a very important piece here. Some people are a little bit touchy about removing it, but I'm going to go through a whole video of showing you how this can be done. We'll go through the different height sizes and which ones actually achieve a co-witness. Because if we're mounting suppressor height sights like these here, you can see that these are the M9A3 white dot sights that basically you can buy off Beretta.com. One tip though, or one thing you have to do, is you actually have to shave the front of this rear sight to allow for the optic to sit here. Okay, that's something that DLAH Designs actually offers. So he's kind of a one-stop shop for mounting red dots to 90 series handguns and other Beretta handguns as well. Beretta also offers 5 footprints on their website. They offer the Trijicon RMR, the Burris Vortex Doctor, the Leopold Delta Point, the Seymour, and the Aim Point Acro. So if it doesn't fit within those 5, optics plates, basically you have to get a custom plate from him. So like the 509T, the Trijicon RMR CC, just to name a few. So anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's take these 2 cover plate screws off. These are just cover plate screws that just hold the gap. Just 2 short screws that can come out easy. If you don't plan on mounting a red dot, highly advise you to put a little bit of blue Loctite or thread locker on there to prevent those from walking out under fire. So after we remove these plates out, put them somewhere safe, you have the top of your slide here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the OEM plate out. It's going to come to you in this blue packaging. You'll see the plate with the screws. Let's go ahead and get it out. And I do apologize in advance. I'm having to work around this camera, so if it jiggles or if I hit it or if I can't install something properly, it's because I got to work around this camera. So alright, so let me go ahead and just sit this on here just so you can kind of see. And you can see this channel here that has to be cut out on the firing pin block channel. So since this moves up, this has to allow clearance, right? So main reason it sits so high, and that's what a lot of people don't necessarily like about OEM Beretta plates. Obviously, if you're going through the effort of having to install suppressor height sights, you're going to want that co-witness, right? So if you're not able to achieve that co-witness, then going with this plate is not necessarily the best option. So since we got the plate now attached, we are going to go ahead and take our slide off, take our recoil spring and barrel out just for ease of use. Set that to the side. And we are going to mic the thickness from the top to bottom, and that's just going to give us a good representation of how thick these plates really are and how high the optic is going to sit. So quick measurement here. Let's see. Looks like we get about 1.143, and that's about what I got down over here. So this is going to be a pretty tall sitting setup. We're going to set the optic on here now. Let's see if I can get this screw. I thought it was in here. Let's go ahead and set that in place. I'm just going to kind of get this out of the way. Let's tighten this optic up now. Keep in mind that these are pretty long threads, just mainly because it goes through the bottom of the plate. You're not going to run into any interference. Now, if you have really long screws that you plan on using, be careful because the hole is right here. You could end up running into your slide due to how close this is, but just check the measurement beforehand. You don't have to worry about that. So on the factory Trigicon OEM plate, you cannot achieve a co-witness. You can see here the rear sight does not clear the deck height, and you will not be able to co-witness. Okay. So in my opinion, I think the OEM plate is a good option if you don't care about co-witnessing. If you don't want to change any internals or anything like that. They do make the 507, 407C in the Vulcan series, which a lot of customers use to necessarily kind of get past co-witnessing with iron sights. However, if you are going to go through the effort of putting on suppressor height sights, I would look at these two other options here that I'm about to show you. So let me get this. Sorry, I keep bumping the camera. I'm just unscrewing the sight here. Alright. So, sight should come off. I'm going to take the two screws here out. Okay. They're very short screws. Make sure if you are going to mount these permanently, you do use some thread locker. Just like I said, if you're gonna not use an optic plate at all, make sure you put thread locker on the cover plate screws, because there's not much thread there. It's very possible for that to back out. So now that I got this back in its home, I'll set that over here. Now, this is going to be the DLAH Designs mid-mount, okay? This is going to be the direct comparison to the OEM plate, mainly because you do not have to remove the firing pin block, okay? So it mounts the exact same way. You just set it in there, like so, and take the screws, set them into the hole, tighten this up. All right, let's go ahead and get our mic, turn it on, and let's see what we get. Hang on, let's get a, so it looks like we're getting 1.083. Okay, pretty big difference over the OEM. We might be able to get a co-witness with this one, so let's try it. Cut that off. All right, set the optic on. Let's tighten it up. All right, mid mount is installed. You can see how kind of low sitting this one is in comparison. And look at there, we actually get a co-witness. Now it's about a 5th co-witness. I'll turn the dot off just so you can see it. It's there, but you know, like I said, very small co-witness, which some people like because, you know, you want to see more of the dot, right? And I totally agree. However, I think I would personally like a 4th, or, you know, a little bit more sight to see there, just personally. I think it does help with finding the dot faster when you have co-witnessing sights. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove the mid-mount. And we are going to remove the firing pin block and put in the Low Pro plate kit. So I think these are loose. Might have to just kind of, there we go, push up on it, close it up. I'll set this one aside. Now this is the one with the firing pin block that we are going to have to remove, the OEM one. So this is your firing pin block right here. Okay, and your firing pin block is located on the bottom of your slide, so you can actually push on it manually. You can see if you do that, you also can get a punch, kind of push on the, I don't know if you can see it, but you can see if your firing pin is actually coming through the firing pin channel by doing that. Make sure everything is working properly. So let's go ahead and take this apart. Now you're going to need at bare minimum a roll of tape, so that way you can capture the pin and give yourself a little bit of leeway. I'm using a 5/64 punch. Mine's bent slightly. Just make sure you use a roll pin punch of some type. There's a little bit of a trick to it. I wrap my pinky around the bottom and kind of just put a little pressure on the top there, and then you know, whack this through. We'll go through those steps. So let's go ahead and get this out. So setting it up there. Easy peasy. Now keep your finger on the bottom of that, so when you let out on the pin, this does not shoot out. Not that it really would shoot out, but you don't want springs jumping out at you. So here are the two firing pin blocks side by side, and you can see there's a little bit of a height difference there. This one is measuring to be right at about 0.546 inches. Okay, this one going to be about 0.629, 0.628. So quite a bit of difference there. I'm going to set this over here, and now we're going to install our new firing pin block. Now, getting this roll pin started is probably a good idea. If you have a starting punch, which good chance is you don't, just try to get like a small hammer or something that you can kind of just, you know, get it in. It's really not in there that tight, so that's a good thing. So just make sure when you put that back in, you line it up. It can only kind of go in one way. All right, there we go. So again, wrapping my pinky around it, pushing up on it because it's got to have clearance on this side. I'm gonna take my starter punch, sit it on top. This thing makes it easy. Cut that off. Oh, it's not all the way in yet. Hang on. There we go. That should be enough to retain it. Now I'm going to take my punch and get it in there. And just a couple more whacks. Good enough. Now, we have the shorter firing pin block here. So now you can see at full travel, it basically comes up flush. And what that's going to allow us to do, it's going to allow us to mount this optic much, much lower. This is a good alternative if you are wanting to, use this over a Langdon tactical cut. Langdon will cut your slide at a pretty hefty price tag. But however, he will provide a plate that kind of covers up all the internals and keeps the gun working reliably. This is a good alternative if you do not want to send your slide off to get cut, so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and put that in there. Let's get this. I'm not going to tighten this all the way down, just mainly because I think these screws are a bit long and probably will scratch my slide. These are 6x32 threads, by the way. Okay, I have it somewhat on there, but I'm going to stop before I run into a little bit of a slide hit there. But this right here, I would say is a very good co-witness. It's about a 4th co-witness. This is definitely what you would want if you're going to go with suppressor height sights. I think that you're definitely going to get your money's worth out of this if you are, planning to invest into a really good optic, the suppressor height sights and whatnot. So, all right, well, that's going to kind of conclude the video here. Big shout out to DLAH Designs for, walking me through how his plate system works. If you have any questions, you can reach out at his website. He responds to emails quite frequently. But yeah, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them if I see any. But this is basically some of the options you're going to have is mounting a 90 series plate, on your 90 series gun. So, all right. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.